Hey guys, and welcome to the first stop of Faces Behind the Food. Today we're at the oldest bagel shop in Lynchburg, and we're at Blue Ridge Bagels. Let's go in and learn some more.
Welcome into the Blue Ridge Bagel. Owned by Barry Kane and his wife Cheryl, they run a small mom-and-pop bagel shop where they serve bagels, donuts, and more. I got the chance to sit down with Barry and learn his story and what makes Blue Ridge Bagels so different from the other bagel shops in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Yes, I grew up in Lynchburg and went to school here. When I graduated from college, I went to college in Ohio. Liberty was here, but I did not choose to go to Liberty because they did not have a campus as such at this time. It's changed quite a bit. Since then, my wife is actually a graduate from Liberty, though, so we are very familiar. And both my daughters, I have two daughters that went to, so I'm the one holdout from the Liberty mold, whatever too. But when I went to college, I was an elementary education major, and that was my goal, was to teach middle school actually, but you either had to be 7 through 12 or K through 8. And so I didn't want to teach high school, so I ended up being K through 8. And my first job, then I got a job back in Lynchburg again at Timberlake Christian School here, and went to work after my first daughter was born. I didn't say this, at a McDonald's. I'd never worked at McDonald's when I was like 15, 16 like people usually do. I was almost 30. I fell in love with it. I loved the fast pace. I loved the food service or whatever. And I said when I finished teaching, I'd love to own a restaurant. And so after I kept teaching, and after 30 years, then I was ready to retire when I was 51. And my wife was ready to get out of the accounting field too. And so we started looking around, and we found a business for sale called Blue Ridge Bagels, already established in Bedford, which is about 20 minutes away from here. The couple had done it for about 5 years and wanted to do something else, and so we bought the business from them. For the next 2 years, I finished my contract for teaching for my 30 years, so that we would have an income of some sort during that time in case the bagel shop didn't work out, because neither one of us had ever taken a class on running a bagel shop or how to run a restaurant or anything like that. But we did learn from the people. They trained us for a month in that time or whatever and stuff too. That was during my spring break. I bought a bagel shop during my spring break. And so then after 2 years, I went full time into this, and then the people that owned the building called us in and they said, we just want to tell you, you're the best tenants we've ever had, but you've got to move. And because we want to open a restaurant back up. And so we started searching around the area, and we could not find anything in Bedford. We lived in Forest, which was about 10 minutes from here. And so we were driving about 20 minutes to Bedford every day anyway. And we ended up finding the location that we're currently in on Leesville Road, and walked in, and the people that were renting it, their daughter went to school with our daughter, so we were already familiar with them. And when we first opened, we just rented this very middle section right here, and then we started growing very quickly thanks to Liberty University.
How does your bagel shop impact the community, or do events that you do, or different things?
Well, because the way the building was set up, we were able to start offering a community room for people to have birthday parties, Bible studies, community events, things like that, for no charge to them, as long as they use our food services that we have here, not bring a Chick-fil-A tray and set it up in there. And so we've been blessed to not have to do that, and that has brought a lot of even corporate things in, and we do a lot of business with Liberty University sports teams for their catering events, and some of the sports teams have a Bible study here too, that I get to know the players individually, and so I can go to the games and see them. And the basketball players this year have been very supportive of us, and the same thing with us. Like today they're leaving to go to Seattle, and so I wished them all off yesterday because they had a big gift certificate. Someone gave them a $100 gift certificate at Christmas to here, because that's what they asked for. Yeah. So they all had gift certificates that they were been using for the last few months and stuff too. So I know a lot of the players, and they're super guys too.
What are some things either in the restaurant or outside of the bagel shop that keep you inspired and going every day?
My faith, basically, is it. We have a great community of church community and stuff too. Well, when we were in Bedford, we started going to Bedrock Church in Bedford, and that was the only location at that time. Now they've opened one in Lynchburg and one in Forest and stuff too. So we've been a part of the Bedrock community since 2012 and stuff too. And so that's been very special. No, we haven't been able to be involved as like we could because we work 6 days a week. Sunday is our only day off, so that's the day of church. And then like, oh, and we on Thursday nights from 7 to 10, I'm like, I'm in bed by 9. so we don't do the community, but now they understand why we don't do community groups and stuff. We did one for a year because they had one on a Sunday afternoon, but then we were like, well, our whole day Sunday is just, we go to church for 3 hours and then we had 2 hours at home, then we came back from 3 to 5 and had another. I'm like, no, we felt like we were churched out by then. So but that has kept us going. And when we go through trials like we losing a lease on a building and stuff like that, then we know that there's a future, where God closes the door, He always opens the window. And so this shop has been 10 times more productive than the one in Bedford was or would have been. It was we had 19 chairs and no room for growth. It was just it was cute. We loved it and we would have never moved, but God knew we needed to move and minister to more people, because I do consider this my ministry. I taught in a Christian school most of the years I taught, but then the last 7 years I taught at Appomattox Middle School. So I taught middle school there, and so at the end of those 30 years I was ready to stop. Never understood, because my teachers in school, they were always like 60, 70 years old, and I was like, I was 51 and I was probably the second oldest teacher in the building, and I was 51.
We are at our second stop, which is the Happy Waffle, where they are serving up mental awareness and happiness with every single waffle and treat that they sell. So let's go inside and see what they have.
Welcome inside the Happy Waffle, where they're serving up smiles and positivity with every single stick. Today I got to sit down with the owner and founder of the Happy Waffle, Jessica Wells, to learn more about her story and how she came up with the creative idea of serving waffles, but with a message.
We've been running our food truck for about 1.5 years now, and then we just opened the storefront location February 1st. So it's been really nice to have this, storefront location, because we've had so many customers say it just hasn't lined up with their schedules to come out to one of our pop-up events or festivals. So it's been really nice to be able to offer this physical location to the community.
With that, what's one of your favorite parts of running a business like this in this type of aspect, because you are very different than a traditional cupcake shop or cake shop?
Yeah, so I love, in the beginning of this whole experience, we were trying to figure out how we could integrate positivity and mental health awareness into a dessert. And I was looking for something that was kind of more of like a blank canvas. So a waffle came to mind, because you can go sweet or savory, so many different toppings, lots of options. And so then I stumbled on being able to put them on a stick, and then I said, that's it, we can put some positive messages on the sticks, and that way not only are people walking away from the truck with a delicious dessert, they have that little positive message on there that just kind of makes them smile. We have just reached out to different counseling centers in the area, and we will put their counseling cards out on our ledge on our food truck, and now in the storefront we have a little resource center. In 2025 we're looking to grow that resource center, and hopeful that we can get lots of other community businesses out here, local nonprofits also, just to be able to have that as a resource for the community, because it can be very intimidating to start therapy, very, just kind of daunting experience. And so my hope was that if I can have these things accessible, if I can use my platform to talk about them, if I can share my journey through going to therapy and how this was all built out of me going to therapy and healing myself and figuring out, how to properly grieve, then maybe that all of those things together can go into someone else's experience, and they can realize that, like, you know, it's not as taboo. It's not something that we shouldn't talk about. Like, going to therapy should be such a brag. And I hope that being able to have it accessible, and they can just see, you know, those cards sitting out on the ledge, and they've been maybe thinking about it for a while, that maybe they'll just go on and grab that card and start that healing journey for themselves.
Are there any specific like stories or moments that have happened where someone has like come up and like thanked you for your business or anything?
Yes, and that we were driving an hour away to a festival, and we got a message on our I believe it was an Instagram DM, and somebody said, on our food truck we have positive messages just kind of splashed all along the side of it, and then we have the 988 crisis lifeline number under You Belong Here. And in the message it said, you know, I've been struggling for a while now, and just driving down the road today, I saw that message on your truck, and it was exactly what I needed when I needed it, and I just want to thank you. And that for me made all of this worth it.
If you could tell your younger self something about like something you've learned through business or just a life lesson, what would you tell your younger self?
That it's okay to pivot. You know, I feel like a lot of people kind of go into, you know, their adulthood as, I have to have everything figured out by 40. And you would think you would be on a set path and pretty much well established by that point. And I turned 40 and completely pivoted everything, learned a whole new world, and still learning that. So I think just that resilience of knowing that you can change and figure out something new, and still just have so much joy and happiness in doing that. Mm-hmm. Right now we have a couple of counseling centers that we have cards for up on our resource center, but I would love to get out into the community and, you know, maybe do a message on our Instagram that says, you know, if you are a local counseling center, you know, please reach out to us. We'd love to chat. So just kind of growing more in that area of the community, and also offering more than, you know, one type of resource. So maybe that's, you know, looking at different festivals that we can go to throughout the year that are focusing on mental health. We are definitely trying to bring in more mental health awareness products. We have like shirts that say you are enough, and, you know, different things like that in our little shopping area over here. So bringing in more of that in the next year, things like that, to just be able to grow in the mental health space.
One big story or like inspiration that keeps you going, like in the business and stuff.
I would say, honestly, my own journey that keeps me going, because going through, you know, processing that death from my dad, and, you know, it being very traumatic, looking back on that and seeing how far we've come from that point, and how far we can go even in 2 months, even in a year. Just continuing to push to go a little bit further and learn a little bit more and grow a little bit more. I think that is what keeps me going. I think back to that often. I think back to the place I was mentally when that happened, and even a year after, I hadn't really processed a lot of it. I was in caretaking mode for my family. So it took a long time for me to take care of myself, and that's what the Happy Waffle was built out of, was me learning to step back. Okay, everybody's okay in my family. What do I need? What do I need? I need to help people again. I need to be able to serve this community again like I once did in the operating room. How can I do that? You know, looking back, I just really needed to be of service. And this helped me get back to a place of joy and happiness. And so that's mainly the point of it all.
Yeah.